Because no is not the answer we are expecting. I am sure if we have a debriefing with the president and the executive of this organization, they will tell you in the 10th year about the challenges that they have. They will tell you about the crisis that would have developed, divisions that may have come, personality issues that may have arisen. Because in any growing and evolving organization, these are some of the dynamics that exist. But if you're going to get to your destination, you got to cross every obstacle. The stumbling blocks that are thrown at you, you have to use them and make them stepping stones so that you could climb higher. The stones that are thrown, the criticism that comes, sometimes even the ridicule on the unthankfulness from the people that you serve. You have to be able to have the courage and the character to be determined that when I started out, this is what we wanted, and nothing will stop us. We will not take no for an answer. By strong leadership, I also believe that we must be deliberate in our actions. Any good leader makes decisions that sometimes in the immediate, the followers don't understand. You have to cross those invisible lines. We have to break down the walls, and we got to build bridges. Could you imagine when an organization that is primarily of Hindu extraction and Hindu influence start embracing other religions? There might be people in that organization that might question, why are they embracing Muslims and Christians? Why are they embracing people of other ethnic groups? But that is deliberate action, because visionary leadership, mission-oriented leadership, is not leadership that is exclusive, sectarian, or divisive, but they take deliberate action to ensure that their actions and their contributions will bring betterment to all the people wherever they are located. Strong leadership is required. When I talk about strong leadership, esteemed audience, I'm talking about daring leadership. You've got to take risks. Any man who's going to be considered great, your consideration of greatness is not in the present. Your consideration of greatness is when history is becoming kind to you. And people will be able to look and say, he took a great risk to step into the unknown. You see, if all of us know the path, leaders are not required. It's when we don't know the path, we need leaders to take us there. If you know how to get there, you don't need a leader. It's when you don't know, you need a leader. If you know everything that there is to know, you don't need a teacher. You don't need an instructor. But it's when you need that inspiration, that knowledge. It's when you need that enlightenment. That is when you need a leader. And a strong leader is one that takes risks. You don't know the result, but you are hoping for the best. You don't know how it will turn against you, but the consideration is not you, it's the betterment of all the people. And that is what is called strong leadership. And I want to ask all of us this afternoon that we be champions for strong leadership in our organizations. Fourthly, to our leaders, and I'm still addressing the leaders of our various organizations before I move on this afternoon. I believe that the quality of leadership that is required in our world today, where I say that there is a crisis, is a quality called sacrificial leadership. The great Archbishop Benson Hosa out of Nigeria said, when you live for prosperity, you live for yourself. So you work, you earn, and everything is about you. The house you can own, the car you can have, to make sure that everything for you is taken care of. But he says the greatness in leadership is when you are living for the sake of others. When you are sacrificing yourself for the benefit of others. I'm sure if you speak with Guruji this afternoon, he will tell you about the amount of personal resources that he would have put into this organization to bring it to where it is this afternoon. I'm sure if you speak to the leaders in the various community groups that exist in Suriname and around the world, they will tell you that they've had to put personal finances. And that is why I'm never harsh on politicians. Because a lot of the people that we criticize today, who we call politicians, whether they be presidents or prime ministers, in order for them to find themselves in the position where they are, they have made tremendous personal sacrifices, working for years to build those organizations so that they could now enjoy what they're enjoying currently. They have made sacrifices. Personal investment. And what I'm talking about this afternoon is a call to a higher good. It is called living for the sake of others. We need leaders in our world today who are not living for themselves, but they are living for the sake of others. And I believe in the warm words of expression that was given here this afternoon by the various individuals, we do have that exemplary leadership in this organization, someone who is living for the sake of others. Let's congratulate them this afternoon. And now that I have spoken to the leaders of this organization and the various groups gathered here, I must share some words with the followers. How do we move from here to the next level? How do we move from this success into greater success? How do we move from our present achievements into what might be called outstanding and significant achievements? There are three things that I believe that will be required that I want to leave with this gathering this afternoon. Number one, we all have to be disciplined. Discipline. There is a breakdown of discipline in our world today. Things cannot succeed by us doing whatever we want, whenever we want, wherever we want, to whoever we want. There must be order. There must be discipline. My first job as a young man was as a school teacher. And when at 16 years old, I went to write the teacher's exam because I started out as a pupil teacher. Some of you from Guyana know that system. You graduate from high school and you're immediately hired as a pupil teacher. But you have to write the exams. When I went to that first class as a pupil teacher, the tutor said to us, education means the removal of foolishness. The removal of ignorance. And he said, the fact that you are in my class is because you don't know anything. Now here is a young man, you have just finished writing your exams, you've done exceptionally well, and that is why you are hired as a teacher. But now you're in this man's class, and he said, if you're going to have an education here, you must admit you don't know anything. He says there's a process. Your mind needs to be renewed. The ignorance that exists needs to go. And what I'll be teaching you will make you a better person. Most of us were angry because I believe he was attempting to insult our intelligence. And you know, with youth, there's a certain amount of pride. But I realized it after a while. If you think you know it all, you cannot learn. Learning is an attitude. Learning is a discipline. Learning requires discipline. And if people are going to follow leaders, and we're going to build great organizations, and we're going to build great countries, and we're going to build great societies, followers got to learn to come to that place of being disciplined. There's no place for indiscipline. So we got to come in line so that we can continue to see success. The second thing I want to leave with all followers here this afternoon is that we must be discerning. Our minds must be enlightened. We must be able to distinguish. We must be able to discern between the sheep and the wolves in sheep's clothing. Because if you are not discerning, you'll be devoured. Not everything that presents itself to be gold and genuine is genuine. Sacred text says, by your fruit you shall know them. So not every voice that says I am great, follow me, you must follow. Not every voice that says I am he, you should follow. You must be discerning. And having discerned and have seen the fruit of the genuine, you must with loyalty and commitment and grace support that which is good. I must admit, as a man that lives and moves among the people, I've heard individuals say to me, I don't want nothing to do with this organization, or I don't want nothing to do with that organization, or I will never be a part of this organization. Why? Because they have been hurt in the past, because they were not discerning. You could only be deceived and damaged if you are not discerning. And I want to commend to you this afternoon that when you're able to see genuine, sincere, compassionate men and women who are working for your good and your development, give them your 101% support to ensure greatness stays alive in your organization. And I think we need to commend the men and women who have given themselves without reward. Men and women who have given themselves without expecting any applause or any recognition. Men and women who have made sacrifices in the past to bring us to where we are. And I'm sure, just like how we had genuine ones in the past, we have genuine ones in the present, we'll have genuine ones in the future. Not everybody is bad. there are good ones in our world today. We need to congratulate all the good leaders that we have in our world today, and we need to follow them. Come on, put your hands together for good leaders. Whether they be in our country, whether they be in our schools, whether they be in religion, we should support good leaders. And thirdly, to all the followers, we need to be dutiful. The late Pandit Ripudaman Prasad, some of you from Guyana know him very well. He was the president of the Guyana Hindu Dharmic Sabha. When I chaired the Guyana Council of Churches, we worked closely together. And he used to often tell me something that sounds like this. Labor thy duty, reward not thy concern. Keep doing what you are doing. Don't expect reward in return.